Now, students, we will look at the classification of different facilities. Depending upon the number of new facilities, the problem may be of a single or multiple facilities. You may require a single facility or you may require a multiple facility. It actually depends upon how many facilities you actually want. The type of facilities may be viewed as the points or areas or simply locations on the blueprint of your total supply chain. At the macro level, a plant may be viewed as a point facility. That means for the whole mapping of your supply chain, one plant might just be a point in that map. At the detailed level, it will be viewed as an area with several other points, facilities such as machine tools, storage areas, etc. ये किस तरह है आपके पास? There is a bigger or a macro picture. In a macro picture, it would be just a point. Point means the detail of that plant would not be given in that mapping. But instead of it, it is just taken as a location or a point. But at the detailed level, if I have a supply chain or my logistical activity is in like 2 or 3 continents or even in one continent in different countries, what will happen? I would have the mapping of it. So at the macro level, there would be different, if I have different plants, the manufacturing plants, if I have different warehouses, if I have different cross-docking points, if I have different terminals, what will happen? They will be just represented as points. And no detail would be given on that. So that it would be for the purpose more or for routing purposes rather than looking at the details of or the capacity of those points. But at the detailed level, I would have one part of that total mapping of my overall supply chain. And in that, I would have different areas. Area means the detail, the specific detail would be there. It would not be the complete detail, but it would be the detail which would be for that would actually give me what would be the storage capacity of it, how many machines are there, what type of tooling is there, what type of facilities are available there, what type of operations I can do in that plant, let's say, and if it's a warehousing, what type of inventory I have there. So that type of detailed map would also be there. And at the detail level, it would be viewed as an area. Now, if you see this diagram, we have new facility, which could either be a single facility or a multiple one. And it could be viewed at the detailed level, it would be viewed as an area. At the micro or macro level, it would be viewed as a point. So in an area, if you are at the detailed level, you will have the layout of that area available on that detailed level report and the other information about that area as well. Whereas for a point, the parameters would be there. Parameters means the grid values, where it is located, what are the x coordinates, what are the y coordinates, and the decision variables, such like independent and dependent ones, would be given on that point location. So the facility planning problem may involve single or multiple dimensions. There could be one dimension to it, just routing, or there could be more than one decisions involved in it. In a single dimension case, the flow between existing and the new facility occurs along the same line or in a same single dimension. That means it could be just a routing problem. एक ही flow है, एक ही direction आपके पास उसकी मौजूद है. The problem of locating the bus stops along a major commercial streets with markets, offices, and residential complexes is an example of this. Single direction. I need to locate the bus stops along the major commercial streets with market, offices, and the residential complexes. In a multi-dimensional case, the facilities are not along a single dimension and the flow occurs in more than one dimension. So the feasible region for locating your facility may be a discrete set of locations or any location in an open continuous space. That means you have to look at more than one decisions for locating your facility. It's not a simple decision of just locating the bus stops along the market or your offices or the multi-complexes. It may be you would have, why it is different, because you would have some forbidden areas. Forbidden areas mean your routing cannot go there. You cannot be in a, let's say, I have more than 40 feet big containers and trailers with me, so they cannot go into a city. So that means the city would be a forbidden area for it. For instance, the available space may be anywhere except location of the existing lakes and fire stations. That would be your location, your space. Let's say you want to set a warehouse or a manufacturing plant, but that cannot be near the lakes or the fire stations. That is one thing. The forbidden area would be the fire stations and the lakes in this case. Now, this is the visualization of what I have said so far. You have a problem. The problem could be in terms of distance, or in terms of objectivity, or in terms of the solution space. Your solution space could be single or multiple dimension. It could be discrete in nature. That means you can count them and there are 1 or 2 dimensions to it. It might be continuous. It could be constrained or it could be unconstrained. Then, if you have a decision problem, we will be looking at it in full detail. Your distance could be Euclidean, distance could be rectilinear, and other as well. We will be covering Euclidean and rectilinear distances. Then, your objective could either be qualitative or quantitative. Or qualitative would be the one which you cannot measure reliably. Objective नहीं होगा, subjective decisions भी हो सकते हैं, quantitative भी हो सकते हैं. Qualitative decisions might involve time and cost, whereas quantitative might be involving distance and others. That means all 4 of them, or more as well, would either be quantitative or qualitative. Then, what you will do, you will like to minimize the sum, or you would like to minimize the maximum. That means you would like to actually get the minimum of your worst condition. That is the objective here. So students, classification of facility, as you can see, is not that simple. In a single dimension, yes, it might be simple, but in a multiple dimension or in a continuous space, or with qualitative factors or qualitative objectives, or with decisions or distances which are like rectilinear or Euclidean in nature, the facility locations, they actually pose a challenge for the logistics manager. Thank you.